Hey, what's up you guys? It's Dorothy and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below what you want to see in the future, click that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on my post notifications. That way you lovely people get notified every single time I upload a video of whatever book we're on. Today we are going to go into chapter 6 of As Good as Dead by Miss Holly Jackson, and I am so excited for this because the book is getting really interesting so far, and it's only chapter 6, so let's get right into this. This video may contain sensitive topics and foul language. If you do not wish to continue, please click off the video now. You have been warned. Alright, here we go. Chapter 6. Pip didn't see them until she was standing right on top of them. She might never have seen them if she hadn't stopped to retie the laces on her sneakers. She lifted her foot and stared down. What the? There were faint lines drawn in white chalk right at the foot of Aunt Bowie's driveway, where it met the sidewalk just beyond. They were so faded, and maybe they weren't chalk at all. Maybe they were salt marks left behind from the rain. Pip rubbed her eyes. They were scratchy and dried out from staring at her ceiling all night. Even though yesterday evening with Ravi's family had gone all well and her face actually ached from smiling, she hadn't earned back her sleep. There'd been only one place to find it, and that forbidden second drawer down. She removed her balled-up fist from her eyes and blinked, her gaze just as gritty as before. Unable to trust her eyes, she bent to swipe a finger through the nearest line, held it up against the sun to study it. Definitely seemed like chalk. Felt like it too, between the bulbs of her fingers and the lines themselves. They didn't seem like they could be natural. They were too straight, too intentional. Pip tilted her head to look at them from another angle. They seemed to be 5 distinct figures, a repeating pattern of crossing and intersecting lines. Could they be birds, maybe? Like how children drew birds from a distance, squashed, mismounting candy cotton skies? No, that wasn't right. Too many lines. Was it some kind of cross? Yeah, it looked like a cross, maybe where the longer stem split into 2 legs nearer the bottom. Oh wait, she stepped over them and looked from the other side. They could also be little stick people. Those were their legs, the trunks of their bodies crossed through with their own over-straightened arms. The small line above their neck, but then nothing. They were headless, so she straightened up, either a cross with 2 legs or a stick figure with no head, neither particularly comforting. Pip didn't think Josh had chalk in the house. He wasn't that kind of kid who enjoyed drawing anyway. Must have been one of the neighborhood kids. Then one with a somewhat morbid imagination, although who was she to comment on that? Pip checked as she walked up to Thatcher Road. There were no chalk lines on anyone else's driveway, nor on the sidewalk or road. Nothing out of the ordinary, in fact, for a Sunday morning in Fairview, other than an innocuous square of duct tape that had been stuck onto a black and white road sign, so it now read Thatcher Pod. Pip shrugged the figures off as she turned onto Main Street, chalked it up to the Yardley children from 6 doors down, and anyway she could see Ravi up ahead approaching the cafe from the other end. He looked tired, normal tired, his hair ruffled and the sun flashing over his new glasses. He'd found out over the summer that he was ever so slightly nearsighted, and you can bet he made as much fuss as he could at the time, though now he sometimes forgot to even put them on. He hadn't spotted her yet in his own world. "Oi!" she called from 10 feet away, making him jump. He stuck out his bottom lip in exaggerated sadness. "Be gentle," he said. "I'm delicate this morning." Of course, Ravi's hangovers were the worst hangovers the world had ever seen, never near fatal every time. They made it to each other's outside the cafe door, Pip's hand finding its home in the crook of Ravi's elbow. "And what's this oi we've started?" He pressed a question into her forehead. "I have an array of beautiful and flattering nicknames for you, and the best you can come up with is oi?" "Ah, well," Pip said, "someone very old and wise once told me that I am entirely without pizzazz, so I think you meant very wise and very handsome, actually." "Did I?" So he paused to scratch his nose with his sleeve. "I think last night went really well." "Really?" Pip said tentatively. She thought it had to, but she didn't entirely trust herself anymore. He broke into a small laugh, seeing her worried face. "You did good. Everyone loved you, genuinely. Rahal even messaged this morning to say how much he liked you, and Ravi lowered his voice conspiratorially. I think even Auntie Zara might have warmed up to you. No. Yes, he said, grinning. She scowled about 20% less than her normal rate, so I call that raging success. Well, I'll be damned, Pip said, leaning into the cafe door to push it open, the bell jangling overhead. Hi, Jackie, she called, as usual to the woman who owned the cafe, who was currently restocking the sandwich shelves. Oh, hello, dear, Jackie said, with a quick glance back, almost losing a brie and bacon roll to the floor. Hi, Ravi. Morning, he said, a thickness to his voice, until he cleared his throat. Jackie freed herself from the packaged sandwiches and turned to face them. I think she's out back in a fight with the temperamental sandwich toaster, he said. She backed up behind the counter and called, Kara! Pip spotted the top-knot fist bobbing atop Kara's head as she walked out from the employee's entrance to the kitchen, wiping her hands on the green apron. Nah, it's still in the fridge, she said to Jackie, eyes focused on a crusted stain on her apron. Best we can offer are marginally warm paninis for the time. She finally glanced up, eyes spearing to Pip's, a smile following close behind. Miss Sweet F.A., long time no see. You saw me yesterday, Pip replied, catching on too late to Kara's waggling eyebrows. Well, she should have waggled first, then spoken. They established these rules a long time ago. Jackie smiled as though she could read the hastened conversation happening between their eyes. Well, girls, if it's been a whole day, you probably have a long overdue catch-up, no? She turned to Kara. You can start your break early. Oh, Jackie, Kara said with an overflushed bow. You were too good to me. I know, Jackie waved her off. I'm a saint, Pip. Ravi, what can I get you? Pip ordered a strong coffee. She'd already had two before leaving the house, and her fingers were fast and fidgety. But how else would she make it through the day? Ravi pursed his lips, eyeballing the ceiling like this was the hardest decision he had ever faced. You know, he said, I could be tempted to buy one of those marginally warm paninis. Pip rolled her eyes. Ravi must have forgotten he was dying of a hangover. He had absolutely zero willpower in the presence of sandwiches. Pip settled at the far table, Kara taking the seat beside her, shoulders brushing together. Kara had never understood the concept of personal space, and yet sitting here now, Pip was grateful for it. Kara wasn't even supposed to be here anymore in Fairview. Her grandparents had planned to put the Ward's house up for sale at the end of the school year, but minds changed and plans changed. Naomi found a nearby job in Stanford, and Kara had decided to take a gap year to go traveling, working at the cafe to save up money. Suddenly, taking the Ward sisters out of Fairview was more complicated than leaving them here. So the grandparents were back in New Jersey, and Kara and Naomi were still here, at least until next year. Now Kara would be the one left behind when Pip left for Columbia in a few weeks. Pip couldn't believe it would really happen, that Fairview would ever let her get away. She nudged Kara back. So how's Steph? She asked. Steph, the new girlfriend, although it had been almost 2 months now, so maybe Pip shouldn't think of her as new anymore. The world moved on, even if she couldn't, and Pip liked her, and she was good for Kara. Made her happy. Yeah, she's good. Training for a triathlon or something because she's actually insane. Oh wait, you'd take her side now, wouldn't you? Miss runs a lot. Yep, Pip nodded. Definitely Team Steph. She'd be a great asset in a zombie apocalypse. So would I, Kara said. Pip pulled a face at her. You would die within the first half hour of any apocalypse scenario, let's be honest. Ravi came over, then placing a tray down, carrying their coffees and his sandwich. He'd already taken a massive bite before bringing it over, of course. Oh, so Kara lowered her voice. Big drama here this morning. What? Ravi asked between bites. We suddenly have a bit of a rush, so there was a line, and I was at the register taking orders, and then her voice was a whisper now. Max Hastings came in. I'm going to leave it off right there. I'll make this into a part 2. I will see you guys in part 2 of chapter 6. Bye.